I want to share with you at least 9 things that can potentially happen according to the research when you go to bed early and wake up early. Hey everybody, Chad Cruiser here with Health and Homestead. Now the very first thing is that it may increase your ability to have the characteristic called proactivity. Proactivity and early rising. Being proactive is a characteristic that enables a person to maneuver situations to their own advantage. Life throws at us all kinds of things that we don't necessarily expect, but people who get up in the morning earlier, on average, are better able to navigate these situations and even turn the tide of a life experience around to maybe benefit them or work out to their best advantage. So this is number 1. Getting up earlier makes you more likely to be an individual who is proactive. Number 2 has to do with being a morning lark or a night owl. And these are not just terminology that I came up with. This is the actual terminology that is found in the scientific study. Morning larks versus night owls. Research reported in the journal Emotion looked into happiness and sleep time. They also looked at sleep time, emotion, and age. And less young people are prone to being morning larks. These are people who get up early and mostly go to bed early. As people increase to the age of 60, they are more prone to changing their sleep time to earlier and becoming morning larks. Many people think, well, maybe this is just totally genetic or epigenetic. There's just nothing I can do about it. Grandpa was this way, Dad was this way, and I am this way. Well, it turns out that often genetics have less to do with your destiny than your choice, and the actions that you choose to take can kind of divert your genetic destiny. And so it turns out that young people, they're more prone to, you don't want to go to bed because you're going to miss out on something. You have FOMO, right? Fear of missing out. But as we get older, people transition from being night owls to, as they get older, to becoming more of morning larks. And what does the research show? But whether people are old or young, those who are morning larks are happier. So whether you're a young person who is a morning lark or whether you are someone in your 60s plus, you're more likely to be happy if you get up earlier. So transitioning your schedule, your chronobiology, even though your biology may point you in one direction, if you choose to go with what is best for your health and your happiness, you're going to be more likely to be a happier person. Now, our third point goes right along with this. This one is incredible. Night owls and mental health. People who are definitively evening people compared with those who are morning people have a 94% higher chance of having a psychological disorder. This is incredible to think. 94% more likely to have a psychological disorder if you choose to be a evening person. Now, I remember when I was in high school, I would stay up, even in college, I would stay up till 2, 3 in the morning, night after night after night. And I was not a very happy person, to be honest with you. But since choosing to transition to becoming a morning lark, someone who gets up early, who goes to bed early, it changed even my mental health. I became a significantly happier person. And this is what the research shows. Another one here, early to rise. Research looking at over 700,000 people found that for every 1 hour earlier rising time, you reduce your risk of depression by 23%. If you're used to going to bed at 12 and then you go to bed at 11, that's 23%. And it gets significantly more every hour earlier, especially typically somewhere around 9 o'clock, people will find the greatest benefit from going somewhere between 9 to 10 o'clock. This will give you some of the greatest benefit to your mental health. Here's our next one on timing and duration of sleep and mental health. Research in the journal Cognitive Therapy and Research revealed that sleep time and duration affect what is called RNT, which stands for repetitive negative thinking. It turns out that shorter sleep duration is correlated with more negative thoughts and obsessive compulsive symptoms. They also discovered that those who went to bed late were more likely to have repetitive negative thinking. And this repetitive negative thinking is something that is common to both depression and OCD or obsessive compulsive disorder. When someone has OCD, they think about the same thing over and over and over. And typically that's also true for someone who is depressed, that they think about negative things over and over and over and over. And so getting to bed earlier might help clear your mind and help you to choose and think when a negative thought comes in, instead of having that OCD-like thinking, that you say, you know what? I don't need to think about that. I can go on to another subject, something better, something happier, and being a morning lark can help that transition potentially in your mind. This idea is an ancient idea. We read here, "It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows," meaning you're more prone to having sorrow, unhappiness as a result of going to bed late. Now I want to transition to what happens physiologically, the negative impact of going to bed late. The first thing we're going to look at is your chances for diabetes. Research reported in the journal Chronobiology International found that those who were night owls had 30% higher chances of having diabetes in comparison with morning people. And why would that be? Well, one of the factors is that our cells, the main source of fuel that they normally use is glucose. And in order to get that fuel into the cells, like your muscle cell, your liver cell, you need a key to open up those cells to allow the fuel to get in so that you have energy, so that you feel good. And that key is called insulin. But when we don't get enough sleep, we end up making our cells become what is called insulin resistant. So they're resistant to the key to open them up. So the glucose, the fuel, is not as likely to get into the cell, thus increasing our blood sugar because it didn't get into the cell to give the cell energy. And so then you are lacking energy because your cells don't have as much energy, and you're more prone to becoming a diabetic. And specifically, going to bed late will increase that likelihood. Our next point is neurological issues. Night owls increase their chances for neurological disorders by 25%. Now you might be thinking, didn't we already talk about a 94% increase in mental health issues in night owls? We did. This increase here, 25%, is not for mental health. This is for brain health, physiological brain health. So if you want to have a healthy brain that functions well, is less prone to disease, one of the things that you're going to want to do is to go to bed early, lessening your chance of neurological disorders by 25%. Our next one is gut issues. Those who consider themselves to be night people increase their chances of having gastrointestinal or abdominal disorders by 23%. And there's a number of reasons behind this. The majority of your immune function is in your gut. It's like 2/3, nearly 70% of your immune function takes place within your gut. And it's been shown that if you're used to going to bed at 10 o'clock and one night you go to bed at 3 in the morning, it can decrease the function of your immune system by nearly 50%. And this affects the gut. And so thinking about that, you getting a good night's sleep, or especially going to bed earlier, is going to help your gut health. If you're someone who struggles with IBS or irritable bowel syndrome or various gut issues or Crohn's disease, you may find that going to bed earlier, being a morning lark, slowly transitioning to that morning lark experience, that early bird type individual, you may find a benefit. I'm not talking about full healing of every aspect, but you might find a significant benefit to the health of your gut. This next one is very pertinent to the times we are living in. This has to do with your lung function. Being a night owl increased chances of having a respiratory disorder by 22%. Now this makes sense on a number of levels. We've already talked about the fact that much of your immune system is in your gut. Lack of sleep impacts the immune function, and if you lower your immune function, what's that going to do to even parts of your body like your lungs? Well, that's probably going to make them less likely to function the way they were meant to. And so in the times that we're living right now, especially where a virus, a respiratory virus, is wreaking havoc on planet Earth, one of the good things that we can do is trying to get to sleep at a good time, especially earlier hours, is going to help your immune function. It's going to help your lungs be able to fight the disease the best that you possibly can. Our last point is that those who consider themselves to be night people, people who stay up late, night owls, they increase their chances of death or mortality by 10%. That is significant. When we add up all of these things, it's very clear there are incredible benefits to going to bed early. To me, the mental health issue, that is the best one. That's the most important one. But the other ones also are very, very important for lung function, for gut function, for neurological function. All of these different things are benefited by going to bed early. So you might be saying, okay, but I struggle to do that. How can I actually get to the point where I really feel like I've become a morning lark? I'm going to do an upcoming video very soon on that, so you're not going to want to miss that. So hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the upcoming video and videos as we look deeper into our physical and mental health, and as we share more on health and homestead. If you like this video, you can hit the like button. It's very easy for you to do, but it's very beneficial to me. So hit that like button and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notifications. God bless and have a fantastic day.